Hello and welcome to another episode of the eCommerce Queen Boss podcast. My name is Zohir Ghanem. I'm your host, an e-commerce entrepreneur and a keynote speaker. And I help queen bosses like you to build their own e-commerce brand through experience in consumer psychology and marketing. And so with not one but two brand new episodes dropping every Monday, you are in the right place to learn how to build your own kick-ass e-commerce enterprise empire with ease, flow, and grace. So remember to subscribe because it's free, so you will have all the updates on your phone every Monday morning, 9 a.m. straight away. On the top of this, what I would advise you to do if you like or love this podcast is to jump into the Queen Boss Mag. So this is an email list where you will receive every Monday my version of the magazine of basically all the things that I want to cover for you on that week. So every Monday you receive links of my e-commerce Queen Boss podcast, but not just that, I also develop further on the topics that I touch base during the podcast. I give you more tips and more strategies to grow your business and up-level your Queen Boss state of mind. And so half of my content is inside the podcast and the other half is in the email. And so you can just head over to the show notes and just enter your details, your first name and your email address, and you're good to go to start receiving the Queen Boss Mag on a weekly basis. Now, with no further ado, let's talk about the topic of procrastination. And this week, earlier today, just as I have released this episode, at the same time I've released another episode where I was coaching the lovely Leslie, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and trying to grow her e-commerce business on Etsy. And so I offered to do that for her a very long time ago. And what I found myself into doing is that plainly just a few hours before hitting the record button for her coaching, I just wasn't in the right mood, and basically that I had this strong feeling of wanting to text her. As a matter of fact, I opened my Facebook Messenger and I started to type the message saying I'm so sorry, and then I didn't know what to say. I wanted to cancel the interview and just put it for later. Actually, I just wanted to reschedule for the next day. And I had no other excuses than just not feeling right or feeling ready or being in the mood for recording this coaching session with her, although I gave my word and I really wanted to support her. And it's not about not providing or not following through with my words, because I always, no matter what, sooner or later, I always do what I say and I say what I do. I keep my promises. So that's something that is really important for me. But I'm talking about the procrastination, the feeling of wanting to put everything to later because we just don't feel like it. And sometimes we don't really understand why we don't feel like it. It's just about putting things to later. And as an entrepreneur, oh God, I really feel this. And I feel like procrastination tend to hit you in a different way, whether you're still at your desk job in a 9 to 5, or if you work into your own company, into your office, or if you work from home. And I think that when you work from home, you have so many more chances to fall into procrastination, unfortunately. And I wouldn't say that it's directly linked to your the way that we feel about our business, in the way that we're not motivated enough, we don't want this to work hard enough. It's just that we tend to fall into procrastination. And here's the thing, procrastination is such an ugly word, isn't it? So what I see is that it's a form of self-sabotage, and sometimes we just don't even realize ourselves. Self-sabotage can come up and happen in so many different ways in your life, and sometimes you're like, no, I don't self-sabotage myself, I love myself, I'm trying to do everything that I can. And I've seen people having a very strong reaction to me telling them that we're self-sabotaging. And here's the thing, is that most of the time self-sabotage is hitting all of us entrepreneurs, and we face it sooner or later at some point, all of us, no exception whatsoever, right? But it's all about how you your ability to really pinpoint and say, this is what it is. This is self-sabotage through procrastination, and I'm doing this because. And so once you really reach that level of self-consciousness, right? I love when Gary Vee says you have to be self-conscious, you have to know yourself. And it starts with knowing how your brain works, and on a conscious and on a subconscious level. A lot of us out there, well, I say us, but really it's not my case. A lot of people out there don't really understand how their brain works. And for me, well, as you know, consumer psychology and psychology and NLP and all this stuff are like one of my main obsessions. I just love to know how my brain works, and how the human brain works in general, and how people come to behave a certain way, and what, your behavior on a daily basis is impacted by your thoughts and the way you think and your subconscious. And so, talking about this topic of self-sabotaging is that there's a lot of exercises that you need to know and need to be able to do when it's just the first time that you are exposed to that idea, right? You don't know what you don't know, right? So if it's your first time and you're like really new into this world of, trying to hack your brain through NLP, or, just reprogram your mindset and change and switch your mindset to something better, something that will help you go through the hard times and the good times also, right? Is that the first exercise that I would advise you to do is to start asking yourself thought-provoking questions. And you can ask yourself or try to analyze your thought pattern or your life pattern. If you have same issues coming up at the same time, regularly, if you find yourself regularly in similar type of situations, and you don't really know how you end up every single time, and you're like, oh my god, why does this has to happen to me every time? It's just happening to me. Or you have thoughts that are more or less around this level, then you are in a reoccurring pattern. And the first thing that you have to know and to do is, first of all, what you have to know is that you can change this. You have it in yourself, and you have the power to change this, so these situations stop happening in your life. Second, what you need to do is to start asking yourself, as I said, thought-provoking questions, and asking yourself what led you to end up in a situation like that. And very often it's about understanding your beliefs about yourself, because you're available for what you get. You get what you're available for. And so once you understand that, it helps you into knowing that you are responsible for a lot of things that are happening in your life. Anything that happens outside of you, you're not responsible but the way that you are allowing things to happen, the way that you think you have to put up with certain situations is entirely done to you, right? Not down on you. That's not the same meaning. That's definitely not what I meant. But it's down to you, right? To do something about it. It's down to you to act on it. And before you have to act, you can't even act on it. You need to understand what's happening, right? And NLP is one thing that is definitely going to help you, because you are starting to have a conscious feeling about what's happening in your subconscious. And so what we know is that limiting beliefs and beliefs in general, right, happen in your subconscious. And so again, it's all about understanding what you are available for, right? And what in your mind tells you that it's okay to find yourself in situations like that. It's okay to push back the work. It's okay to not do the work that you're supposed to do right now, right? And understanding why your brain is trying to keep you from doing this. And there is a lot of underlying fear when procrastinating happen, is that sometimes procrastination happens because we are scared of the outcome, even if, and that can sound ridiculous, but that's the truth, even if the outcome means success, it can have this reaction where your brain tries to keep you from being successful, because so far your brain has been associating being successful and having the money, having the customer with a certain feeling, and that's probably a self-destructing feeling, such as money is hard to get, it's going to drain your energy, you're going to be tired, these type of things, or people are going to judge you and they're going to leave you, they're not going to like you, money is going to make you a bad person, these type of things, right? You're going to become shallow and you're going to become like one of those rich people who just think they are better because they have money. Money is going to change you. You're going to sell your soul to the devil. I mean, you name it, right? And it's all about understanding what leads you to procrastination. Is it fear of success? Is it underlined limiting beliefs like that, right? Is it also because you don't really want to do what you want to do? Like you think you have to do it, or you have to do it, but it's the have, it's not the want, right? You're not fired up, you don't feel it in your heart, and you're like, yeah, I know I have to do it, I should do it, and sometimes it takes a long time before you can even realize to yourself or admit it to yourself that you just don't want to do it, because it doesn't bring up fire up in your heart, and you don't like doing that thing, right? Maybe you just don't like being an entrepreneur, you don't like working on your business. And once you understand that, then ask yourself if it's your business in general that you don't like. What is it that you don't like in your business, and how you can turn around and create something that you really love and that fires you up, so you won't be tempted to fall into procrastination ever again, or not as soon as, right? I meant by that the latest possible, right? And so ask yourself that. And if this is just related to a specific task, is there a moment throughout the week where you will have more energy to do this? And so, also, when your energy is low and when you have overworked yourself without taking breaks and things like that, it's easy to fall into procrastinations too. It's obviously, right. or is it just something, a part of your business that you just hate doing, and that you can find someone who's just good at it and loves to do it for you, and someone that you can hire in your business, either as an employee, as a freelancer, or as an intern, like you choose, right? So ask yourself those questions. Like when it comes to procrastination and self-sabotage, there's a lot of self-search, soul research, if I can say that. It's like there's a lot of inner work, and that can be done. It doesn't have to take ages. That really can be done quite quickly, and you can reach aha moments really quickly when you are asking yourself the right questions. And so I gave you a lot of questions in this episode, and I really want to keep this short because, I have other stuff to do. Not because I don't love spending time with you, but because for the sake of not procrastinating. Just for that. And if you haven't joined my Limitless Profitability Challenge, I cover a lot of those negative and limiting beliefs and NLP strategies, and it's closed at the moment, but you can still join the waiting list, and you're gonna find the link in the show notes. And so this is it for me today. It was my very, very first time recording this podcast through my phone Anchor app. And so if you are around still listening to me and you are asking yourself, how can I produce a podcast? Because podcasts these days are really hot. I definitely encourage you to check out the Anchor application and play around with it. You can record your podcast from your phone, just like what I'm doing right now. And it's free to use. And here's the thing, if you're listening to me, you're probably asking yourself, yeah, but why the hell would I even create a podcast? I'm an e-commerce entrepreneur. Here's one thing, one major ass thing to take into consideration is that as we progress, technology will switch from less written down and more voice commanding, right? So as we hear around us a lot, Siri is very we hear talking about Siri, we hear about Google Assistant, and now Alexa is out and ready to be used, right? And the future of internet is voice, and voice searching stuff via the voice, using your voice, just by talking to your device. And so you want to be ready for when this truly happens. And it already has started, right? Like if you don't have a podcast, you're already late to the game, my dear. I'm sorry, but this is it. And so this is why if you start recording a podcast regularly and you publish that on your e-commerce website, then it's going to help people finding you more. And that's one form of SEO, search engine optimization. And it's voice is the future of SEO. So I couldn't recommend for you more than right now, because podcasts are super hot right now, and I would definitely advise you to check out the Anchor application. It's free to use again. And this is it for me. Thank you so much for listening until right now, if you still are listening. And if you love this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review in iTunes. I can't believe I haven't seen my iTunes review until very recently, because I didn't know how to check them. But thank you so much for all the people who left 5-star reviews. I definitely appreciate that, seriously, because I take a lot of time and energy into making sure that the podcast is becoming better and better with time, right? And so when you leave your 5-star reviews, it means the world to me. Thank you so much. So again, my name is Soher, and it has been an absolute pleasure to serve you today. And remember, keep building your empire, because A thriving queen boss never quit on herself. Until the next time, have a blessed day, honey.